My name is Peter Wittman. I'm with Yellowstone Landscape, and I've been with the company about 10 years now, and I've been in the industry for 20. I'm currently a business development manager, but I've held many roles in the operational side of the business, from account manager to production manager to branch manager. All right, so right now I want to just tell all homeowners, all commercial property managers, don't panic. We experienced one of the worst frost damages that we've seen on record for over 25 years. And you're seeing a lot of browning of your plant material. You're seeing dieback, you're seeing wilting. This is very common when some of these tropical plants experience these cold temperatures. So basically the cells are bursting inside, they're browning, but don't panic, we have a plan and we'll walk you through those next steps. So basically right now is after a freeze, you wanna wait. The biggest mistake homeowners and property managers make is instructing their landscapers to go ahead and cut some of this stuff back too early. We want to leave that dead growth on there to help protect it in case there's a future frost event. So if we cut it back too early, you're now exposing the lower parts of the plant material and the root zone to future frost damage. So we leave that on there, so in case we have one, it lays back on top of that already dead material. So I encourage everyone to wait 2 to 3 weeks after some of these frost events. Typically in Central Florida, that's the end of February, early March. Once you're in that early March and soil temperatures are above 65 degrees and we've got consistent temperatures in the 60s, 70s, it's safe to start cutting back that plant material. All right, so here we are. We're at a property we currently maintain here in the Orlando market, and you're gonna see a lot of different types of plant material that has been negatively affected by the frost. And then you'll see some other plants that had no issues whatsoever. So I just wanted to walk you through some things and some signs that we've seen on these. And the first plant here, this is a hibiscus, and it's clearly shown that it's browned out. It looks like it's pretty much had complete dieback. And so what I like to do, which I talked about in an earlier session, is basically get into the plant material and look for green. I'm not seeing any green. And I'm still not too concerned about this, but if I go all the way down and I'm still not seeing green, I'm still gonna cut it back because this is a nice plant and it may still have a nice root zone that will push new growth. I like to cut it back, so I'll get all the way to the ground, cut it back, and we'll look for new emerging growth after that. So this next plant, this is a white fountain grass. We also have red fountain grass here. The red is a little more susceptible to the frost damage, but we want to cut these back. And these plants typically get cut back annually anyway. Rejuvenation pruning is the best thing for a plant. People are always scared to cut back plants. Go ahead, you're not gonna hurt it. It's gonna rejuvenate itself and it may come back better than it was before. So with the grasses, I like to get all the way down to about 4 to 6 inches. And you can use gas-powered shears or you can use hand shears and cut it back, clean it up so it looks uniform. And the main thing is if you have 20 in a space, make sure the cutbacks are done at the same height, just for a good uniformity and a way that it looks nice for a finished product. So we got a couple different plants in this location. So we have Blue Days, which is a ground cover. And you can see there's still a lot of green on this plant. So I'm heavily encouraged by this. I like to take some gas-powered shears or hand shears once again, and I'm basically gonna cut this back to 1 to 2 inches. And you would be surprised how beautiful this is gonna come back. So you perform your cutbacks, and then you wanna make sure your water's set properly, 1 to 2 days per week, depending on the season. And then you're fertilizing as soon as you finish your cutbacks with the proper shrub fertilization. And this stuff is gonna bounce back beautiful. We got a couple different plants here, one of them being the Crotin. A Crotin is a super popular plant here in Florida, and I do not wanna go away from these plants, but because they're after so much color, so much fun, there's a bunch of different varieties, we wanna make sure we're cutting back these properly, and you'd be surprised, a lot of these are gonna come back great. So once again, I'm checking them out, I'm seeing where there's green. This one actually says green somewhere near the top. I'm checking near the bottom. We're still in good shape. These I'm gonna cut back to about 6 inches. Once again, we're gonna do proper watering, proper fertilization, and these are gonna come back beautiful. Now this is an orange bird of paradise. It looks like it got hurt a little bit by the frost, but we're still seeing a ton of green on there, so I'm not worried about it at all. So I'm just gonna wanna remove all the browning. It's really more for aesthetics, and then it's telling the plant, I need to go ahead and push new growth out. So I'm getting rare as possible. We don't want any dead brown stalks remaining. We want the leaves to look green that are remaining. And don't worry about getting every single leaf. You don't want to take off too much because The plant needs these to produce energy, to grow more. You can always come back later and prune more. Less is more in some of these things. And what I always tell people is, after you cut it back, you can't glue it back on. All right, so here are two very popular plants that we see here in Florida. You've got your Hawaiian ties and you have your Robelini palms. With the Hawaiian ties, they offer that bright red color. I still want to use this plant. And once again, same as the Crotins, I'm gonna scratch them, see where there's green, see if it's still alive. And I like to cut these back. And honestly, with Hawaiian ties, you wanna do this on a reoccurring basis anyway, usually every 1 to 2 years, because they do get leggy. And when I say leggy, I mean they get tall, they start weighing themselves over, and they get out of shape. So this is a good chance to rejuvenate them and kind of get some new structure to them. So I'm going to cut them back to about 6 to 10 inches, and proper fertilization, proper watering, these will bounce back. All right, now here we have the Robelini palms, and you'll notice we have browning fronds, but we do still have some green intact there, and heavily encouraged by that. So I'm seeing all the new green emerging growth that's bright green, vibrant. We're in good shape here. So as I mentioned earlier, we don't want to go ahead and prune these back. They're using those brown fronds to pull in nutrients to help encourage new growth. So let them be. I would give it another month or two, and then you can start pruning some of the lower fronds. But we do want to keep that 9 and 3 look like a clock, so they're uniform across the board. But these are going to be absolutely fine. So here we have the white bird of paradise. Really popular plant, gives you that tropical look, puts off little white flowers. You see the white flowers here are spent. These can be removed, but I wouldn't be scared about what's going to happen to the bird of paradise. They're actually very frost tolerant, but their growth, you're seeing some browning on it. We're just going to want to go ahead and clean that all up. Once you see about 70% of that leaf, if it's brown, you're going to want to go ahead and cut it off. You can use really sharp shears, or you can use a handsaw, but I'm going to go ahead and clean up all these dead ones so it can start pushing new growth. And as bird of paradise get bigger, you want to take these trunks down anyway, because they get very weighted down, they get heavy, and when you prune them back, it gives it a new look and it pushes new growth. So when I'm taking off an entire stalk like this, I'm going all the way back as far as I can, and I'm cutting it with a handsaw and removing that. Once you cut it back, it's telling itself, I need more top growth. So it's going to go ahead and start pushing off a new shoot like you're seeing here. We've got a lot of green on this. This plant's going to be fantastic. So here we have a triple Adenidia palm. It's triple because it has 3 trunks, also known as a Christmas palm. These were heavily impacted by the frost. Depending on where they were located, if it had tree canopy, if it had fencing or something to block some of those heavy winds, some did better than others. But if they're out in the wide open like these ones are, they were heavily impacted. And so what you want to look for is that emerging stem that I talked about. Now, we see here, this emerging stem is completely brown. If you see any green down in here, still wait, let's see what it's going to do. But this one, I touch it, it feels mushy, it's rotting out, and you actually sometimes can just pull them and they'll pull out. If they pull out completely, that palm is dead and unfortunately needs to be replaced. But depending on the protection you have for your palms, some people wrap them up, some just have fences around their property, or they have tree canopy that kind of help protect it from the heavy winds. We saw more damage this year because of the heavy sustained winds. We saw this in 2010 where we had heavy frost damage, cold temperatures in the mid-20s, but this time around we had more wind. So this is an unprotected area on the property, and you'll see that the Robelini palms took more damage. But once again, yes, they look ugly because they're brown, but if you look inside, there's green growth, everything would be okay, nothing to worry about. We'll just have to wait some time for it to push out all this brown growth, and the new green will start emerging. Now I want to talk about some plants that had no damage whatsoever. So you'll see a holly shrub here. Great plant, provides a nice screening, a hedgerow. It had no damage. It's more of a northern plant. It can handle all that cold. Now we also, like I mentioned before, the right fountain grass got dinged a little bit, but it's going to be absolutely fine. So that's a great plant choice moving forward. There's a number of different ornamental grasses that you can choose that are not frost sensitive. And then we have juniper over here. It's a great ground cover. Kind of grows up into a hedge if you allow it to, but also a northern plant that can handle these cold temperatures. And then behind it, we actually have a bottle brush shrub. Once again, is used in other markets, some colder markets, and it did absolutely fine with zero damage occurring to it. So if Yellowstone is your current provider, or if you're looking for someone to help you with these plans, please reach out to us. You can reach out to your local account manager, or you can find us online, and our local branches would be happy to assist in putting together those plans for replacement, plans for cutbacks, cleanups, and just give you the education that you need to appropriately address your property after this frost.